Hey everybody, welcome to the Song Revolution podcast, brought to you by Nashville Christian Songwriters. Nashville Christian Songwriters exists to empower Christian songwriters worldwide. I'm John Chisholm, and this podcast exists to bring you valuable songwriting insights, inspiration, interviews, and just all around good fun with some of the greatest songwriters, producers, arrangers, artists, and creatives, and beyond. You can find out a whole lot more about us at NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today on the show, and to say that I am excited about today's show would be a terrible understatement. I am coming out of my skin. I'm so excited to share with you this episode that I taped earlier this summer with my man, Terrance G. McCoy. Now, Terrance is one of my dear friends, and he's also what I call the poster child for Nashville Christian songwriters, because when Terrance came to me about a year or so ago, the man had lots and lots of talent, but man, we needed to dial in his songwriting. And he'll tell you, as he does throughout this show, that what we did with him through the NCS boot camp was helped him to focus more clearly his ideas, to get back to those central themes and ideas of his songs, and to really dial in what it was he was really trying to say, style-wise, lyric-wise, and just turning him into an effective songwriter. Not turning him into, but releasing the songwriter that he was on the inside. So, and the cool thing about Terrance is through the process, as we got into recording demos with him and really working toward exposing some of his songs, he discovered his own Southern roots rock, Louisiana kind of artistry, and he has done a full-blown album that's releasing September 29 called Transparency. And what's even cooler is that Terrance has dedicated his music to ministering to the homeless and to the broken. And so rather than waiting for Christian radio or waiting for anybody else, Terrance is out singing his songs to the poorest of the poor and those who could never afford to hire him or to remunerate him in any way. So I love you, Terrance. Thanks for the show. And you guys out there listening, I hope that you get a lot out of the debut release. I'm going to be weaving some of Terrance's new songs in and out of the podcast. So just to give you the flavor of what he's done. And I'm just so proud of him. So sit back and enjoy Terrance G. McCoy. I am so glad that you are here. I'm sitting in Jeremy Redmond's basement, the guitarist for Big Daddy Weave, where he and Jeff Quimby have a solid state-of-the-art studio called Cloverland Studios, and doing some great work here, amazing stuff. And hooked my buddy T-Man, Terrance McCoy, up with these guys, and Terrance has been in town this week finishing up an EP that's going to release this fall. We'll tell you a little more about that, but I am welcoming my buddy, my man, Terrance G. McCoy, to the Song Revolution podcast. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. It's so cool to hang out with you again. We had tacos today, and been hanging out in the studio today, getting some vocals recorded, but it's always fun getting to hang out with you, man.
Hey, thanks so much, dude.
Always.
Wow. Well, we were just talking before we started the recording here that you were like the first online when we started Nashville Christian Songwriters about 18 months ago. I think it was like late December or early January.
It was maybe even earlier. Well, yeah, you're right.
Because I just released my ebook, right? And so
just came out with
you were trolling on the web.
I was lost.
And it was
in the internet world. I was swimming around. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had just been laid off from my job, and my ex-boss had told me that he said, quote, "Today is going to be the best day of your life." And I didn't know what he meant by that. I don't think he knew what he meant by that, but he was actually right.
He was prophesying.
Yeah, he was prophesying over me without a job. But
well, all I remember is it was late one night, and suddenly I'm getting these emails from Terry McCoy.
Yeah. Well, when you lose a job, you tend to get kind of nervous and also lose sleep.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I lost some sleep that night.
But I mean, we hadn't even posted our ebook.
No.
And you were like there.
I had no idea who you were. I did not know. I've never heard of John Chisholm, nothing. And I was. It just kind of woke this dream back up inside of me, and it was a dream that honestly, man, I'd given up on. I had a teenage daughter, and I was getting nervous. I was just kind of like, I just want to take care of my kid.
Sure.
So I just kind of decided I'm going to stop this. I mean, really, I'm sure whoever I'm speaking to in Podcastville land, whatever. It's
a bunch of great people in town.
I'm sure there are some people out there that can relate to this, but I just kind of gave up on it, freaked out a little bit, and just said, I'm giving up on this, and I'm just going to go get a job. I'm just going to go get another job and do this. But there was, whenever I was laid off from that great job that I had for about a year and a half, I just started thinking about the music again, because man, when it's born into you like it is, it doesn't go away. And I was up late. It may have been past midnight.
I think it was.
I didn't know what to type, and I typed in like Nashville songwriting blah blah blah. I don't even know what I typed in, but this thing popped up, and I'm at the point, I'm tired, I'm sleepy. It had been a very stressful day. It was a day that I was laid off, and I'm just exhausted. And I clicked on something, and it was your site.
Cool.
And I saw this free book, and it said like the seven proven strategies
to write better songs now and stand out from a stupid Crowded Marketplace or something.
Thank you for having that answer prepared. So so that's what I saw, and that was very intriguing to me. So I clicked on, and as soon as I clicked on the download button, the computer just shut off. It died on me.
What?
And it popped back up. The download had worked. But I don't know if you turned your site off, if you had it up in like real time, just looking at it or what. But I don't know what happened, but I know that it was gone. I tried to find it again. I could not find it.
Couldn't find the site.
I couldn't get the site to come back up, but I had the book. So I read the book. I loved the book. You need to read. I'm talking to the podcast peoples. You need to read this book, The 7 Strategies. If you've never read anything else, you need to read this book as a start. It was a great start for me, and it fired me up. So,
I think you said you read it like twice.
I read it again, and I'm the first and second person to ever read this book, and I'm very proud of that.
You were, man.
So
you were fired up.
I loved it. I sent you. I was probably really weird about it. But I sent you some type of email about, hey, you know what? I want to be your friend or something. I don't know what I said, but yeah, I was just, no, honestly, I think I just thanked you for writing such a great book. I loved the book. I grew quite a bit from it. I really thought I knew, man, I really thought I knew it all. I thought my songs were great because all my blue-haired ladies in my church loved my songs.
They love it.
And
Miss Dottie.
rightfully so. They loved it.
Miss Dottie.
Yeah, Miss Dottie. And we actually have Miss Dottie.
Do you really?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. That was a lie. But But we had I had that mindset of I'm a pretty good songwriter, and I had my quote unquote my baby, my darling song.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's don't tell that story
yet.
Yeah,
no.
Let's build up to that.
But I had some people really pushing in my life saying, "Oh man, you've got this great song. You're a great songwriter." And all of a sudden, you just kind of walk around with these flowers on your shoulder, going, I must be great. I must be great at this." And I'm telling you, man, you called me. Didn't you call me the next day?
I did.
It was a Saturday. And you called me. I was eating breakfast. I was like, dude, I'm eating eggs. Who is this? What do you want? But it was so
trolling
cool.
on my brand new site that hadn't even been launched yet. Like, and you were downloading my book. And it's like,
my bacon's getting cold, man. What do you do?
You were the first and second person to read it.
So we had a great conversation that morning. And I remember you said to me that we were going to become good friends. And we have. Man, folks, I love this guy. I trust him. He's great. Yeah. It's a great relationship that we have built. It didn't happen overnight, but I was convinced, and I think you were convinced, because we kind of needed each other. I wasn't the only one that needed help.
I agree.
You needed some help, and God just kind of put us in each other's life. And everything else from that point on has been awesome.
Well, anybody that gushes over me is my new best friend.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to become
I'm so
the best.
needy. It's like,
exactly. Everybody get in line.
Well, it's like, when somebody loves you and we artist people, we're all a needy bunch anyway. But
that's right.
When someone's really responding to what you're putting out, it's like a song. If you've got a song you're singing and nobody's digging it, right. Well, you get your feelings hurt because that's your baby and you don't want anybody to call your babies ugly.
Exactly, yeah.
Or, whatever. So, you were just so ecstatic about what I'd put out. And I'm like, okay, I need to hang on to this guy somehow.
Because I was brown-nosing, so you held on to me.
Yeah, well.
I need a yes man in my life.
You sing the chorus. You sing, we dance. You sing, we dance. You lead with the melody, and like a little child, I was standing upon your feet. Oh, you sing, we dance. You sing, we dance. You lead with the melody, and like a little child, I was standing upon your feet.
Yeah.
You have walked with me through my whole journey of developing NCS to what it is now, the whole you don't want to buy my videos season into, hey, we've really got something that is cool here that can really help people phase, to going through our whole boot camp, to where we are right now with you in the studio and all the wonderful things, a podcast for crying out loud that has had 6,500 downloads since April 1. So you've walked with me through my process, but I've walked with you through your process. And now here we are, best buds, BFFs, and sitting here BFFs in the studio where, you've just recorded 5 more tunes for an EP and you're ramping up. What I feel, and I really do want to talk about the process because I think that's really important.
Sure.
And I celebrate and acknowledge you for all the hard work that you've put into it. But what I feel has happened is that a whole ministry has been birthed out of this because you weren't walking in all of your giftings. You were doing a little worship leading here and there, but But you weren't writing at this level. You weren't recording at this level, and you didn't have this focus that you've got now. That it's birthing a whole new ministry. So what I'd like to do is just kind of go back a year and a half ago. You discovered the ebook. We became buds. We started walking down this road together, and I was coaching you a little bit here and there. You came up. Help me remember what happened before the boot camp.
In that conversation, you had told me, I'm totally going to tattle on you. But look out, here it comes. But you had said, because it was such a special moment, and we agreed, I was broke. I was very broke. And a little scared, trying to figure out, do I look for a job? Or what do I do in the world? And you told me, I tell you what, man, I'm going to do you a favor. and I'll let you send me a couple of songs. I didn't ask for that. You offered that, and I thought, okay. And I sent you Burn, and you told me, yeah, that's good. So when you said, yeah, that's good, I thought, it's not good. It's not good. It's terrible. Oh man, Burn. It's burned. It's burned to a crisp,
It's
like
toast.
toast. So I took that one, and you did make some suggestions. And just the short time that we talked, you said some very key things. You talked about the writing about one big idea. And you said that, and that really stuck out to me. And I started looking at Burn in that way, and I thought, wow, I know I have 4 ideas, maybe 5, maybe 6. But so anyway, I pulled that one back, and I sent you some other stuff, and you didn't say anything about that. You just kind of, you offered some critique, but I could tell they weren't really working. But you did say you liked Burn. So that's a funny story that we'll finish in a second. But so we never really parted ways. We always stayed in touch. We have a bunch of emails that we have just talked back and forth. I throw you little ideas every once in a while. I never really dove in with you the first year because I was broke, and I was really letting that fear and that thing really guide me.
And I charge for my friendship.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to be my friend, you pay.
My BFF here is very expensive, but I'm just kidding.
We're going to drive people away from this.
Yeah,
podcast. That's what we're gonna do.
no, don't leave.
They're
No.
like, click.
But
We're off.
But I kind of took what you said, and you had taught me a few things, and it really kind of fired me up. And once again, I thought, okay, now I have tweaked my skill, and now I once again know everything about writing, and I've got this. So I joined some sites, some writing sites, some song competitions, and that to me is such a long and hard road to just enter. I'm not discouraging it necessarily. I'm not, but I particularly after going through it, it did nothing for me. It really did nothing for me. I just needed a mentor to take me and do exactly what John ended up doing. And again, I'm kind of giving it away, but we'll get to that. But I went down the wrong road, the wrong path, and it was really frustrating because I'm sending in songs. And I'm getting, oh man, that's a great song idea. We just can't take it because of this one little bitty thing. And it would just toss my song. And I really was getting frustrated with that. So however long it was, that kind of gets us up to where we are now. And one night, I had somebody told me, oh, you've got a great song, but now you need to find a person to record this semi-professionally, put a click track on it. Don't send in demos that slow down and speed up. You're really just showing laziness in doing that. If I can give any advice on this, please just don't do that. But you use a click track. But and try to use as quality of stuff as you can. But anyway, I got it recorded. I was fired up. I had 3 songs. Burn was one of them. Mm-hmm. Still needing to be rewritten. But somebody else had told me, oh, it's ready. It's awesome. There's a lot of yes men and women out there. And you have to be careful with that because they're real quick to just tell you because they can make money off of you. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that because I really want to set this up, that this is not one of those people. John Chisholm is not one of those people. He's the one person that I don't feel you have ever even come close to taking advantage of anything I've done in front of you, learned anything. You have helped me, and it has been worth every dime. So saying that, but I got pretty frustrated, and I was done. I think I called you.
Desires deep inside set my life on fire. Pour in me Your compassions make my heart like the heart of Jesus. God, come soon, bring revival from these ashes, lift up your people.
I sent something, and it was just like, I pretty much contacted you somehow and said, I am done. I'm done. I'm finished. And things got very real from that moment on. I was doing better financially. I was doing horrible, like odd jobs work and breaking my back, and I've done that for many years. And I was just, my body was wearing down. And anyway, you just reached out to me and said, here's the deal, man. You are a great writer, but we had talked about in the boot camps that you really wanted me to take the boot camp because you thought there were some fundamentals that I needed to go over. You just wanted me to take the whole thing and almost like running tape across something, just picking up everything as you lay it across. If you can envision that, just picking up a little bit here and there. And that's exactly what happened. I took that class, and there were a lot of things you covered that I was just like, I don't know it all, but I knew that. Yeah, I get that. I don't struggle with that. I understand that. But then you would cover things, even like something simple like the one big idea. You know, you hear it so much that people mean well and they have so much going on in their heart. They start writing a song and they'll say one line, and then they may get in this crafty mindset of saying, okay, well, I'm going to say this because that really matches up and rhymes well with that. But you know, another thing you taught me is you really need to focus on what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say? And say it. Find a creative way instead of having three options of a rhyme and then you totally narrow out your entire idea. Well, and you're lost in it.
Well, that was really what I mean, back to what you were saying a minute ago. You had bits and pieces of things.
Yeah.
And my Terrance McCoy story is, and I don't want to fast forward too much because I think the boot camp piece was so critical for you because you knew just enough to be dangerous, but you would have, you know, 3 or 4 different styles in a song because you're so gifted as a vocalist and so gifted as a musician that you would have a little piece of Disney. You'd have these big soaring choruses that were like, the range was like this much. And
a whole new world. Yeah, that was
Well, there was kind of that in the choruses.
I'm Aladdin.
It's like you would have like 3 different styles going and in one song. And it didn't really... So you had bits and pieces, but what we did with you was come in and make it all line up. We aligned your understanding so that we gave you the complete skill set, and a mindset. I think is very important as well. But I remember the day because you had we worked it out for you to be in the boot camp. I think you were in the very first round. I was back last September.
I think I was the very first. Yeah,
you were, man. I mean,
I like to be first.
You were. So, you were the first to read my book twice, and you were the first to come into the boot camp. But what and seriously, I mean, it didn't even click even right away. And I don't know what all was going on your end of things, but on my end of things, I'm watching and I'm thinking, okay, I'm saying all the right things, and you had decided you wanted to record, so I'd set you up to come in with Jeff Quimby here in Cloverland Studios with Jeremy Redmond of Big Daddy Weave. They do this thing. And so we had a studio date set, and we were missing one song. And we'd worked on With Me Always and the Burn. We worked on Burn.
You called me and you were like, I really like the hook on Burn. Why don't you do? And I told you, I said, dude, you said, oh, that's good.
I know, but it needed something, and so we worked it.
Like, he is crazy. But he has lost his mind.
But so we woodshedded, if that's even a word. We took those 2 songs to the woodshed and worked them hard. And then we were coming into the studio like, 2 or 3 weeks later? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's 2.
And I'm thinking, okay, goodness, he's got one more song he's got to pull out. What's going to happen?
So I was trying to make money to do the Nashville trip, and I was painting a house in a really dangerous part of Shreveport, Louisiana. And there was a train that goes by.
I love this.
And it goes right behind the house. And I was sleeping in the house. I had an air mattress, had my clothes hung up, paint fumes. I was like high every night. It was sad. It's a sad story.
I can't edit that out of Facebook Live, but I can.
I was every night. But so I had this hook, and that's another thing you taught me to borrow things. That one kind of wigged me out a little bit. I thought, man, I don't like. Because I hear people writing stuff, and you can so tell they're just totally copying a line. But I took that, put a little love in your heart, because I kept seeing that annoying commercial on TV. Everybody's seeing there was something, I don't even know what they're selling, but then they do the put a little love in your heart. And one day they sung that, and I just thought, put a little love in it, And so I brought that hook to you, but I had a cruddy last line. I said, let's make this world a better place. Yeah. And you're like, come on, man. And I love it because I love it when people are honest with me. Yeah. And John is very honest with me.
In a very nice, loving, gentle way.
In a loving and gentle way. John Chisholm is my friend. But anyway, thank you. But, he just gave me $5 on the podcast. All right, but so I had this hook. He told me you can do better than that on the last line. So I rethought the last line. I wrote the rest of the song before I came up with the last line. The last line just kind of came. Yeah, and so one night I painted a house. I was exhausted. I took a shower. I got in there on my air mattress. I had my guitar, and I just started, I try to learn overall concept of a song. I call it room writing, where I try to keep myself in a room. And I pictured myself just serving somebody by opening a door. And that's where the lyric came, hang on, let me get the door for you. I mean, people say that all the time, hey, hold on, I'll get the door for you. Hang on, let me get the door for you. And then I just thought, I'm going to keep it right there with that person.
You did.
And the next verse is, do tell. When I ask how you are, do tell. I really want to know. I'm not kidding. I really want to know. And then you turn it around on the person, and you're like, now go do that for somebody else.
It's killer. So my end of this, my version on my side of the deal was that you'd thrown that hook up, at me, and and I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe. And then you had the kind of cheesy, make the world a better place,
Right.
And
Let's
I'm like,
make this world a better place.
It's like, no. So however many days it was, I don't know if it was 2 or 3, whenever.
You never listened to it.
No, well, okay.
You didn't.
Okay,
You know
here we
you
go.
didn't.
Okay, I didn't. But anyway, the day I did, okay, you sent me some fresh version one morning.
I called you.
Okay, you called
like,
me
hey,
and
dude,
told me
have
you
you heard
had
this? Have you
and
heard
so then
this?
I listened to it, and I'm not kidding. I literally fell down on my knees in my office, and I'm laughing and crying because it was so right. And the way I tell the story, because Terrance has been my songwriting client, is that everything I've been trying to teach. See, I got to take total credit, but
Right.
it's like
he lost his mind, folks. He
But,
lost his. He went bonkers.
everything that we'd been trying to do, it's like it went and just gelled. I mean, we came into the studio. I was laughing and crying, literally. Called you up, gushing. Oh my God, man, this is amazing. Oh my God.
I want to be your friend again.
And then this is all coming out on the podcast. I didn't know there was all this emotion behind it for you. But anyway, so then we just came right in the studio, and I don't think one word changed.
Oh, and then on top of all that, in the middle of the song, and I didn't even break rhythm.
In your demo,
A train went through in my song. So, I go in Jeff Quimby's and Jeremy Redmond from Big Daddy Weave, their studio, and the demo I give them has a train in the middle. I was like,
and
you let them hear that?
You did stop. You did stop while it
I
went.
stopped, but I kept counting. And I said, dude, that's a train, dude. And I just kept going. Put a little love.
You totally did.
Yeah.
You just kept it going.
Right.
If you really wanna turn, if you really wanna turn this world around, put a little love in it, put a little love in it, put a little love in it, put a little love in it. Every little thing I do and every little thing that I say, I'm gonna find a way to put a little love in it. A little bit of color will take away the gray.
Such a beautiful progression, and then even beyond that, we did those 3 songs here in the studio, and then you're like, okay, wow, we're going to take this all the way to an EP. I'm going to start booking dates. This is like got to get out.
Never intended on doing that. You've been such a great fan of like my singing, which I don't. I'm the singer, so I don't think I'm that special. Anything different about my singing? I really don't. But you made such a big deal about that, but that didn't really talk me into it as much as, man, when I started writing for this thing and I let Jeff kind of talk me into doing this, I kind of found myself.
That was the story I was going to tell.
Oh, man, I found myself. And you had a lot to do with that. You kept talking to me about, you do a little bit of everything, and that's kind of cool that you can do a little bit of everything, but I don't want you to do a little bit of everything. I want you to find yourself. And I think it was I Am Yours. When I did I Am Yours, first of all, when you send somebody lyrics and the chorus says I am yours, that's probably not going to go over real well. And it didn't. He sent it back and he was like, dude, are you serious? What are you doing? I are you stuttering or what? And then he listened to it and he liked it. And we talked about how natural that seemed to be for me to sing that style. And we went with a blues rock. And man, the saddest part about that, I don't even know where I picked that up. It's just,
It's your DNA.
in me. I don't know where I've listened to songs like that, but I don't have a cool story of, oh man, I went to this concert and I just fell in love with Pearl Jam, and I wanted to sing like that. I have no story of that, but I'm telling you, I've been writing the next 5 songs on this, and it's a pretty diverse album, I would say.
Yeah.
But it has a theme. There's consistency, but it, so close is a different sounding song, but it's still it all ties in.
Well, then that's it. It's like the whole process, because we can look back, 2020 hindsight, but what I saw happening with Put a Little Love in It, suddenly it was like you found yourself.
Right.
And all the skills that we were able to bring and get you, complete, then you could take those skills and then be you, right? You didn't have to think about it. It became natural.
Well, yeah, writing became easier. Not a whole lot easier, where I was just throwing out songs every night that were just ready and finished. I've never written a song ever in my life that was just finished right off the bat. Again, can I put a little plug in here that if you're always going to have to rewrite. I say this all the time, like whenever I get into social media, rewriting should be your best friend. It really should. You cannot be afraid to rewrite a song. What was it? Your mentor, Bill Gaither, always said, man, a rewrite will make a good song great. Make a great song.
A classic.
Mm-hmm. And I am even proving that in my own personal life as a writer, just being able to tell my story clearly, and that being the success. When I say a success, I'm becoming a very successful songwriter in just sharing my story because of that rule right there.
That's great.
I love it.
That's great. I've got the podcast that's coming out this weekend, which by the time this one airs, it'll be long behind it. But I'm writing about what is success as a songwriter. What's real success? Right. And your real success is however large or small your platform becomes now that you're stepping out and doing this, you are a successful songwriter because you are now able to share your passionate heart and the things that you want to say. And so that was so delightful for me when you found yourself and then started building on that. And now these 5 songs that we've been talking about really are cohesive, even though you've got a ballad, a couple of ballads, you've got some real rhythmic things that are just powerful. But that Cajun roots, rock, blues thing, is really evident. And however you pick that up, it sounds great, dude. I mean, we were listening to some things here in the studio earlier, and Quimby and I were like, wow.
Jeff Quimby cracks me up, man. His little head bobbing and stuff. And he actually dances around, folks. He walks around. He has moves. It's cool.
Yeah.
He's going to hate me for saying that.
Oh, well.
No, he won't.
He'll get over it.
Fortune and famine, I've lived it, I've seen it all. Chasing the masses, I wind up just getting off. Right in the middle of the fight of the struggling, I feel you patiently helping and holding and loving me. I am yours. Saying he's a good friend of mine. I know that he's lying to me all the time. I don't need to look for something I've already found. I got no doubt when I'm calling out, you're gonna be around. I am yours.
But I mean, this to me is what it's all about. I call you the poster child of NCS because you were the first one in, and now you're the first one really out with such a great product,
right?
With great songs. I've been pitching your songs around town and getting very favorable responses from people. It's a process in getting songs cut, and we never promise we can get songs cut. But if I come up with a writer who is really bringing something good, I'm going to get out and I'm going to tell my friends about it. We're going to work on it.
I appreciate that. Two things I think that has gotten me to a point of being a successful songwriter. One is letting go of myself. I really need to just let go of myself because it's a dangerous place to walk to think that you already know mostly everything that you need to know. There is no possible way that you know everything you need to know about songwriting. I was so far away from that. I actually had to get rid of my favorite song, Dance in Your Rain. I thought I had a really good hook about standing on the feet, like a child standing on their father's feet. But I had two big ideas in that song. And it was almost impossible, not in the chorus as much, but in the verses. I could not gel that thing together to make sense. And I was dangerously about to write a song that was going to have a nice, really nice melody and this big song that was going to really deep down confuse people spiritually.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that kind of responsibility in my life. But the second thing is, and it comes into, I'll never forget the night where we had our call, and I finally got enough nerve to share Dance in the Rain. And I honestly, I'm thinking, yeah, he's gonna love this song. I'm about to get signed with somebody. I really did. I was so dumb. What's wrong with me? But you listened to it and you really picked it apart, and then you ended up telling me you really may want to consider just keeping your hook and tossing this. And man, it's like my whole world just went down this well, in this puddle of really stinky water. And I was just like, man, he just told me. But I knew that was the rule, that sometimes you have to, what do you say? You say,
kill your darling.
Kill your darling. Well, Dancing in the Rain was my darling. And I mean, I even had, I'm not going to say who, but I had some names that seemed interested in that and they liked it, but I trusted you. And that's my second point, that if you're going to, and I highly suggest, if you're brand new at this and you're watching this right now, I can't say it enough, folks. I trust this guy. Can I have another one of those? Yeah, $5. All right. $5.
I don't even know who's $5.
You hear that? Yeah, I know. It's probably Quimby's.
He's laying here on the desk.
But I had to trust him because he knows way more than I do about songwriting. But more than that, he loves this business. This guy loves it. He takes this so seriously. He does not want us as songwriters putting together so-so songs and then put this great voice and this great melody behind it and then sell it because of the sound. Who cares about the sound if you're not responsible enough to write absolute truth, crafty within the boundaries of greatness? If you're not willing to do that, I personally don't care what your melody sounds like. I know that sounds ugly, but I'm kind of an ugly guy, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, I'm trying to be real honest here, that we have to focus more on lyrics and what we are trying to say way before melody. And
well, that's my whole message, man. That's the gospel according to Chiz.
Yeah.
It's like, and because you've lived it, but so have all the other few dozen people that have gone through our boot camp. It's like, no, I mean, we've had some great singers. I've got a new guy in. I'll give a little shout out to Rob Williams. And a lot of people are really, really good singers, but then some people, like yourself, you're just more gifted, and we're all gifted to different extents. But a great singer can hide a mediocre song.
Right.
I think that's what you were saying a moment ago. It's like, and we'll get these demos into the boot camp, and it's like everybody is typing in the chat box as we're listening, and they're going, wow, great song, anointed, love it, can't wait to hear it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm sitting there on my side of the screen going, oh, crud, don't say that, because there's this hole and that hole and this hole. He's got 17 different ideas. I'm not picking on you, Rob, for your song the other day, but Rob has this amazingly big, pop voice, right?
Oh, cool.
Just like you do. So anyway, you're looking for some great things out of him and a lot of the other people we have. But
Keep going,
the
Rob.
point is that a great vocal can hide a bad song. And so I really go over and over and over that and say, okay, let's don't spend our time on demos yet. Let's just look at what is the melody and what is the lyric.
Right.
And let's see if we can build something out of those things that are worth going to the studio. And Terrance,
Sure.
I can't tell you how many people, all they think about is being heard.
Right.
But so many people don't have anything that's ready to be heard. And they think if they could just get a big producer or a big artist or a big publisher to hear their songs, then they would suddenly be discovered and make it. And the thing that I don't mean to be touting my own horn at all here, but I've been a publisher for 30 plus years.
Sure.
And if you're going to get somebody to hear your songs, we've got NCS sitting right here.
Right.
And with an amazing success story right here with Terrance. So the gospel, according to Chiz, is just let's don't be satisfied any longer. Let's be dissatisfied with the mediocre. We're swimming, we're floating, we're drowning in a sea of mediocrity.
Yeah,
and
that's good stuff.
If I can do anything, man, before I go to be with Jesus someday, I'm starting a song revolution, guys.
Yeah,
we're starting
awesome. Well, I'm going to be a part of it.
You're already are.
I'm going to be your first right-hand man. First one.
You're already it, dude.
Like,
you're doing.
I'm on your left side right now, but I am your right-hand man.
You're so doing what you were designed to do, and that is becoming so evident, and that's our heart. That's just the success that we can bring to the kingdom of God, and to see that process just come alive in somebody like you, and so many changes in your life since we've become friends. You've gotten married.
Got married April 1st.
No kidding.
No kidding. No fooling. No fooling. Lisa is just incredible.
She's a beautiful lady. And so now you have a new stepdaughter.
Right, Emily.
Emily.
And my daughter,
Haley,
15 years old. 15 years and 14 years old. Folks, I need prayer.
Lord, we pray for this man. Yes, Jesus.
There is now no condemnation. God, you've got all my allegiance. I have proven I cannot do it on my own. There is power in your presence. When you walk in, I am breathless. You take over, and I am overwhelmed with who you are. I'm trusting you, my God, with everything. I just want you to dwell in me. I really want you to dwell forever in me. In my thoughts, in my words, in my moods. I want it to be you. I want you. I want you to dwell. When you lead me in tomorrow,
I am trusting all of your ways every single day.
Great guy and the testimony. So how are you going about kind of ramping up, getting ready to be doing dates and stuff?
I'm staying cool, calm, and collected. That's how I'm doing it. This may sound crazy, but I have no desire to be like signed. I know that's the big deal. Everybody's like, oh, I want to be signed. I don't necessarily want to be signed. The fun in it with me is just to get a gig and go to some little church and share my story. I have an incredible story. God has done. I mean, I should write a book with what God has done in my life. And my wife, Lisa, has an incredible story. Jeff Quimby, he jokes around with us, but he's kind of serious. He calls us the power couple. But it is almost unbelievable what God has done and how he has surprised us. And in this process, I mean, a lot of these songs, after you ripped on me, these are all pretty new, so these all have to do with my story. And that shows me one thing. I remember Tom Jackson. You just had him on here. He doesn't know me from, Strawberry Shortcake. I mean, he doesn't know anything about me. But I remember him, and I took a class of his up in the Rockies in the early 90s whenever I was a young punk kid and thought I was going to save the world, with my voice or something weird like that. But I went to his class, didn't know anything about the guy, but he got rolling in the class, and then he just kind of hit the brakes, and he told everybody, he said, I'd really like to just stop and tell y'all something I'd really like for you to take home with you. He said, if you don't have anything to say, you have a great voice, you can do this, you can do that, you can play a stellar guitar solo, you can do all that, but you have nothing to say. He just said, please just be quiet and go back and work on your skill, serve in your church. I mean, and he made this really cool list of lots of things we can do, but for the first time in my life, and I mean, I'll give it up. I'm 44 years old. I mean, I'm an old man in this thing, but I'm not that old. But I'm ready to rock it. I'm 44 years old, and for the first time in my life, I feel like that I have a story and I have something to say. And my EP, which is going to be entitled Transparency, it says it all in that. And I cannot wait for people to hear it. But this process, I'm just staying cool. I'm just going to take it one moment at a time. And, a really cool guy that I know here, I'll take that $5 again. A really cool guy that I love that I get on these calls and you take these moments where you can tell me anything. We can spend time on anything you want, but you can see stress in my eyes and you can see something going on. And I mean, I had a bad morning, one morning with Lisa, and it was just rough. We were stressed. We're trying to sell our other house and moved to Houghton, Louisiana. And you told me, you said that Mother Teresa quote, you said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And to me, that's success. I mean, my story says it all with that. I mean, it's incredible. But I just want to have the next moment, whatever that is. I don't care if it's 10 people, 10,000 people. I just want to share my story. I want to share my songs. I want to share what God's doing in my life. And I want to do it in the most crafty, creative, wonderful, and heart-filled way that I possibly can. And I can't wait.
Yeah, buddy. Well, you're living it. You're living it. And, it's like Proverbs 16:9 is one of my life verses, and it's the mind of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. And right. I'm the last person who would have thought I would be back in Nashville after we were away for 16 years.
Wow.
And I was doing full-time worship ministry and all that. And the Lord literally sent us back here without me knowing what we were going to do 2 years ago. And I came into this thing kicking and screaming. And, because I wanted something different for myself. I actually wanted another church job. I wanted safety.
Right.
I wanted a paycheck. I wanted a pension. Because I mean, I'm not a spring chicken either, right? I mean,
no, you're not.
You're a kid, compared to this little old man. But this is starting a business. You kidding me? And putting my wife, and my family in a situation where we're living month to month, trying to do something to encourage songwriters. It's like, what? You're going to do what? And yet this is where we are, and now we're sitting here, and the testimony is we've not gone hungry, and God's provided, and he keeps surprising me with the joy of knowing that I get to do this every single day. I don't really have to work because I love what I do. Right. I love these podcasts. I love the writers. I love our coaching. I love everything that we're able to do because I know this is making a difference in the kingdom of God. And, there's a mental twist, I think, sometimes in Christianity. We think that we are waiting on God to do something, right? But I really think he's waiting on us to do something. And I think that's what's happened with you is you were the most tenacious person. I don't know what all was going on inside you. You've kind of let me in see a little more than I've seen before today, but you are the most tenacious person that I've ever dealt with as a client, and just your whole drive. You told me earlier this year, this is my year, this is my time, I'm going to do this. And now here you're doing it, and the rest of the story remains to be written, but just your heart to go serve wherever you are and not say, I have to be on the radio to be successful, or I have to sell 100,000 or 800,000 records to be successful, or do this festival or that show. You're humble of heart. You're willing to go anywhere and just share the goodness of God, and that's real success. And with these songs, buddy, I know they're going to be blessed. Whoever hears you, however many or however few, they're gonna hear a clear message. Right. They're gonna hear something clear and concise and powerful and memorable. Right. And dude, you're on your way.
Transparency, opening up. Who knows when? I sure don't.
What you mean?
Everything, your love would still remain. You will never leave. I could run far away. You'll always run after me. You will never leave. Today, tomorrow, the same and forever. You are with me, always. You will not ever leave me alone. You'll never leave me alone. You are with me, always. You will not abandon your love. You are with me always. My past tries to shut me out. Your grace overwhelms my doubt. You have covered me. You call me by my name. You see me without shame. You have persuaded me. Today, tomorrow,
So how do we wrap this thing up, buddy?
We say goodbye.
We say goodbye. Hey, thanks for listening to the Song Revolution podcast today and our Facebook Live. And I tell you what, you guys probably think I'm the craziest person in the world, but I love you guys. I really do love you guys with the love of Jesus. I know Terrance, you got to feel the love.
Oh,
You got to feel the love.
I love people. I love, especially these people.
I know, right?
Here.
Like love. We just give you love because, this is why we're here. This is what we do. And I'll probably have to delete this Facebook Live, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's whatever.
We'll see you guys next time on
guys.
the Song Revolution podcast.
Transparency.
See ya.
Heaven's not a place miles and miles away. It's so close to me. Heaven's not someday my final resting place. It's here and now. His lips have touched my ear. I can hear. So close to me, I can feel his kingdom breathing. So close to me, when I cannot speak, he hears me. Eternity so close. Eternity awaits to answer right away when he hears my call. There's no empty space where I could lose my place. Christ is all in all. His lips have touched my ear.
Thanks for being here today for the Song Revolution podcast from Nashville Christian Songwriters. We exist to empower you and to bring you some of the greatest inspiration, insights, and important people from the Christian music world to help you write your best and to be heard as the songwriter that you were born to be. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us over on Twitter and Instagram, and connect with us through our Facebook group called Successful Christian Songwriters. Until next time, I'm John Chisholm calling you to a Song Revolution.